Hey everyone, we're back with another episode of How to Get My Job. We sit down with amazing people within the design and product industry to ask them how their careers started, evolved, and what advice they have for those coming after them. Joining us today is Kareem Grant, a senior product manager at Coinbase. Hey Kareem, how you doing?
Hey Danielle, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. Your career journey is quite interesting because you transitioned from engineering into product. Am I right?
Yeah, actually, a couple of transitions. I started off my career in management consulting, then finance, then engineering.
You've had
A few
quite
jumps.
a few
Yeah.
jumps, quite a squiggly career path. So let's jump into it with the first question. How did you get your first job in product?
My last career as a software developer, that's when I first got introduced to the role of product management. So we were on a product team where usually a few developers and a product manager. And here was this person that was sort of in between like both worlds, in between the world of like development engineering and also the business side of things. And for me, I thought that was pretty fascinating because, again, my career spanned multiple careers or multiple paths. And one of them was management consulting, where I worked in between engineers and the business side and thinking like strategically. And while I loved my job as an engineer, because I really love coding, I still do that on the side on nights and weekends. I felt there was something missing in terms of my skill set. So when I got introduced to product management, I started doing as much research as I possibly could to find out, like, wait, like this is something interesting, and this is something that I've done something similar like this in the past, not in like a fast-paced like startup environment, working with like engineers that are really great. It was more so just and it was one of those things where I felt I had to learn more. So started doing a lot of research and then made the decision that I wanted to make the leap to product management. And for me, it was more about getting a company to take a chance on me and also just, very communicating extensively my transferable skills. So the fact that I was an engineer and the fact that I did have these other skills in the past that translated well to being able to make a successful transition to product management was one of the ways in which I was able to sell myself or sell my skill set to other companies, and took a while, a lot of rejections, but I was eventually able to get a company to basically take a chance on me, and it was a role where it was being like the product manager of a particular like API. So it translated really well to what I was doing before as a software developer. So I think being able to very emphasize your transferable skills was what got me my foot in the door as a product manager.
No, that's amazing. And I guess on the topic of transferable skills, it leads quite nicely into our next question, which is, what are the most important qualities a senior product manager could have?
I think intellectual curiosity is one of them. You're going to be thrust into different roles, and like you're going to have to learn a little about a lot of different things. So you can communicate with the engineers, you can communicate with sales, you can communicate with senior leadership at your organization. So I think intellectual curiosity is a big skill that people look for when it comes to product managers. Also, just being comfortable making decisions with limited information. As a product manager, a lot of times you are at the intersection of a big decision, whether it's you making the decision or you aligning people on, and providing them with the information that they need to be able to come to a decision. But one of the things as a PM that I've found that's helped me is, when there's a tough decision and people are sort of on the fence in terms of like what they want to do, and it's up to you to sort of push that forward and get everyone in alignment, understand their concerns, understand the trade-offs that need to be made, and then either whether you're making a decision or whether you're basically escalating to someone else to make the decision. You're the one responsible for helping drive towards some sort of resolution. And then clear communication. A lot of the job is communicating to a bunch of different groups and being able to clearly communicate to all the different teams that you're working with, whether it's the engineers, sales, marketing, or whoever. Being able to clearly communicate both written and orally is a key skill. And then the last one is being able to lead without authority. As a PM, technically no one has to listen to you because you're not responsible for anyone else's career if you're assuming that you're a PM as what we call an IC, individual contributor. So a lot of it is basically building those relationships and building that trust with your team and the stakeholders outside of your team to get them aligned on the direction that you want to take the aspect of the product that you're responsible for.
No, that's really interesting. And I think especially the one about, having to be a people person and have good communication skills. That must be hard trying to, I guess, motivate people, get everyone on the same page. You're nodding there like, yes.
Yeah. You kind of have to, you have to lead with empathy. You have to sort of put yourself in everyone else's shoes and understand like what their concerns are, like what their career aspirations are, like how they view success in terms of like their own careers and the company. And those might be slightly different depending on the person. And when you're trying to get everyone on the same page, it's really important to understand sort of like, that aspect for each individual person. So it's not an easy job, and being a product manager is a thankless job. When things go well, you get too much credit. And when things go poorly, you get all the blame. So for people who are comfortable with that, this is a role for you.
Awesome. No, that is very helpful, very helpful. And finally, we've come to our last question, which is, what's the best career advice you've ever been given?
I think the best career advice that I've ever been given is to constantly like operate outside of your comfort zone, meaning that things are going to be scary, right? But those are the opportunities to grow. So for me, I've changed careers now, I think 3 or 4 times. And every time it was scary, right? Every time it was like, there was self-doubt, there was imposter syndrome. It was like, wait, can I do this? What if people reject me? And a lot of times that's just you and your lizard brain just sort of trying to keep you from advancing to the next stage of growth in your life. And I think for me, every time I've encountered something that was scary, especially when it came to my career, and just pushed forward, even though like I may have stumbled, I may fail, I may get rejected. The end result was me like succeeding, and success to everyone means something different. But for me, it was like, hey, can I successfully like operate in this new career path? And back in the day, for you to change careers multiple times, people would be like, oh, that's a red flag. Now, the way like, the world works, it's not. And I think it actually brings, a different viewpoint where you're not like stuck in this one view of the world. You're bringing different views because you worked in different industries with different people. For me, it's been like operating outside of my comfort zone.
No, I love that. And I can totally relate to that. I try to step out of my comfort zone as much as possible, but you have that imposter syndrome, like you said, in the back of your mind telling you that you can't do it or you're not good enough. But like you said, every time you do that and you push yourself a bit further, you get to different levels of success. So that's given me a lot of motivation. I'm feeling I'm feeling quite inspired after that bit of advice. It's been such an interesting and inspirational talk with you, and thanks again for coming on to the podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And hopefully people find this valuable.
No, I'm sure they will. And until next time, take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.